Welcome to another episode of Rhinestones Rants. I am your host, Alyssa Better, and today's episode is titled, Not Just the Pom Poms, the Pressure, the Power, and Purpose of Dance Team. We are pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to lead a nationally ranked high school dance team, because this world is so much more than a halftime show and hair flips, believe me. And joining us today is none other than the award-winning national grand champion dance coach of Valencia High School, Andrew Allen. We are taking high stakes, auditions, team culture, competition, drama, mental health, mama bears, and what it truly means to build a legacy one clean formation at a time. So make sure to click that like button, share the love, subscribe, and let's sashay into it. Welcome to Rhinestones and Rants, where the glitz of the dance world meets the real talk of industry, and a dance mom who lived it every day. This podcast isn't just about perfect pirouettes and dazzling costumes. It's about the raw, unfiltered journey of raising dancers, navigating the competitive scene, and balancing the chaos of life beyond the studio. So grab your coffee or wine, adjust that messy bun, and join me and special guests for a little bit of rhinestone-covered realness. Click that like button below, subscribe, and let's get into it. So welcome, Andrew, to Rhinestones and Rants. Notice your hat says Vikings on it.
It says Vikings, go Vikes.
Go Vikes. And I'm really happy to have you here. This is all about high school dance team. And what's interesting to me and to everybody, I've talked about this before. My daughter was homeschooled, so we never did high school dance team. But it's blown up, specifically more in the past 2 years than I've ever seen before. This is not only a nationally ranked sport, but people are going gaga over what college their kid's going to get into to dance. And high school dance team is the springboard to all of this.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And you, Mr. Andrew, have done what everybody wants to do in this world, where you have literally obtained 2 grand national championships, WCE, USA. These are like best talents in the country going and traveling to these incredible, nationals. And you've won not 1, 2. So thrilled to have you here, because I think everybody wants to know, who is Andrew? How did you create this mega house of champions? And I kind of want to get into, more importantly, who you are that started this to get to where you are now.
Absolutely. I am from Southern California. I chose to dance because I didn't want to do PE in high school. So that was my first introduction. And then the coaches of my high school dance team asked me if I was interested in trying out for the team. And I was like, okay, I'll just keep dancing. And then it slowly turned into my biggest passion, which then turned into my career. And I always knew I would like to get back to coaching eventually, just because my coaches raised me. They made my love of dance through high school dance team. And so I knew I was going to end up back there one day. I didn't think it was going to be as soon as it did, but in divine timing, everything worked out exactly how it should be. And my life has changed for the better since becoming a coach.
But when you were you a trained dancer from what age? When did you first step in? What was Baby Andrew all about?
So I didn't dance until high school.
Oh, you never
until
did?
I was 15.
Just because of PE?
Just because my sister did it in high school, because the program we had at our school was huge. So it's you could take just dance classes rather than the dance team. So she did it prior to me. And then I was like, I don't want to run the mile. I really don't want to wear that outfit. I was like, no, thank you. So I just decided to try out. I was in a dance class my freshman year, and then just only trained at my high school dance team. But what was nice about that is a lot of us didn't train at studios. So that's where we got our training. Aside from the practice schedule, it was all about growing us as dancers just as much as being competitors. So that was the base of my training until I moved out to LA.
And you mentioned that you had these incredible coaches who kind of framed you who you were today. And I want to talk about that a little bit, because I think it's a really important makeup of who probably you are today because of that. What were the characteristics of those coaches that really stood out to you that you were like, I want to be them.
Yeah, I think the main characteristics and what I hope to give my girls on my dance team was they always believed in us, regardless if we got a triple pirouette, 4 pirouettes, or we just kept growing and were more flexible the next day than the first. They never gave up on us, and they kept believing in us, and they held us to high enough standards, not just for the program, but for ourselves as humans. And I think that's what shaped me the most as well in my high school dance team program, was that they weren't training us just to be good dancers. They were training us to be good people. And I like to say that I'm a good person from it, of course. But I think the value of dance team for me is a lot broader than just learning how to dance, and looking up to my coaches in that way. If I could give back half as much as they did to me, to my team, then I would be a happy guy for sure.
Which I actually know that you do without even knowing you. So this is obviously, for anybody that's listening, this is the first time we're meeting. But theoretically, I feel like I know you very well. And the reason for that is because I knew very little about high school dance and what was encompassed in it. I was lucky enough to have so many friends that have kids that do it very successfully. And every time I was like, okay, who can I talk to? Which mom has the, most opinions or is most vocal about it? And then more importantly, who's this winning coach? And everybody was like, you have to talk to Andrew. You have to talk. And your name kept coming up. I was at my podcast. We didn't call it a launch because that's going to come at a later date, but we called it like a hangout. It was a viewing, and there were 20 people there. And they were asking me, who are future guests? And I'm like, oh, I'm doing this thing on high school dance. And they're like, oh my God, Andrew, you have to talk to Andrew. And I'm like, I actually did speak to Andrew, and Andrew is coming on. And it was interesting. They're like, he is the best coach. When everybody's out there on the floor, he's down there, he's dancing, he's going full out. And, I love that because it's not what you hear people say. It's what people are saying when you're not around. So you need to know that they're not the only people who are saying it. All of my friends were talking about all of the incredible things that you've done for these girls. And we're going to get into that. But I really didn't want to start this without letting you know, like, your name comes up on a consistent and the most positive light. So what your coaches did for you then, you are giving back and paying that forward tenfold, because nobody has anything bad to say about you. And if they did, I would have heard it. I'm doing Rhinestones and Rants. People would have ranted about it, right? So that I find a great part of the who. So now you finish high school, and now tell me like what that next part looks like.
So I finished high school, and then one of my coaches did the Edge Scholarship program when she graduated high school, which
doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't exist anymore.
I just was with Menina Fortunato, she does a whole program after school, but she also did the Edge program too, which just seems like it was a really big thing.
Huge thing, huge catalyst for almost the whole entire Los Angeles professional dancing industry. That studio is very missed, and I feel it, and I know all of us feel it, but she did the scholarship program, and that's what inspired me to go, oh, I can do this as a career. Like I can choose dance as a career. So I tried out for the scholarship program, got it, spent the 12 months dancing 40 hours a week with my scholarship group in all styles, ballet, hip hop, jazz. And then from there, the idea was to become a commercial dancer, dancing in LA. And then I did that for a while, a couple years, I think up until like 2019, really.
Okay.
Movies, TV shows, like all the stuff like that. And then I slowly but surely realized that commercial dance specifically wasn't my greatest passion, in the sense that there was an itch for something else. And so around 2019 was when I got the coaching job at Valencia, because one of my students at my studio was like, hey, we need a high school dance coach. Like, would you be interested? And at that time, like I was 22, I was like, I don't really want to settle down, be a coach. Like, that's not the vibe I'm going for.
It's not the vibe. I love that. That wasn't the 22-year-old vibe, but it became it.
It became it. And I was really good at balancing at the moment for like still dancing for myself professionally, but also still coaching. Like that was the promise I made. But then right after that, the pandemic hit. So all I had were my girls remotely, of course, at the beginning, but all I had was my team and my girls for the most part. And I think that's where I dove in and was like, oh no, this is where I belong. This is where I feel worth. This is where I love the most, especially my kids. And so from that point on, my career kind of took more of the coaching, teaching trajectory than just solely trying to dance professionally.
Which is amazing because sometimes when you're not even looking, it finds you. Like
it fell in my lap, and it is taking that job, applying for the job. I wasn't going to apply. And then the night before my little application was due to Valencia, I said, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? And like I said earlier, like divine timing, it was the best decision. It's changed my life in 1,000 different ways. And I couldn't be more grateful that I just said, yeah, let's do it.
Well, I'm sure that Valencia couldn't be more grateful either that you are, that you actually filled out that application and that you got it in, which is remarkable. Why do you think high school dance is so misunderstood? And when I say that, it's like people, they just, I mean, even it's college dance is misunderstood. Like my daughter goes for her BFA and everybody's like, oh, so she's on dance team. No, she's not on dance team. So why do you think high school dance has either a bad rap or just people don't understand it?
I think it's the second part that people don't understand it unless you're in it. And once people are in it, then of course they understand it. Luckily, the college world, just like blasting off in the past couple of years, has kind of given the term dance team a better light in a sense. But I think people just thought that dance team was so mathematic in the sense of like formations, like it has to be this, tricks, turns, and then you couldn't say anything with what you were producing and putting out on the competition floor. But from an inside perspective, as well as all my fellow coaches can agree, is that you have so much freedom still while also trying to fit those mathematics of like being a competitive dance team. Because I think there's a ton of freedom in studio worlds where you could really do anything you want, put it on stage, and it can win 5 million awards, or you can just be happy with the product. But I think because there's not just rules with dance team, it scares people off, even though Picasso said this, not to sound like, oh, I know Picasso.
Tell me, quote Picasso.
He said you have to learn the rules to then break them like an artist. So it's kind of like dance team has given me that opportunity to learn. And again, I speak for other coaches, is it's like, if you find out how to navigate the system, you can do whatever you want and still be successful.
Just great.
And that's what I love. It's challenging, of course, and people get a little bit timid when it comes to like the verbiage dance team. But at the end of the day, you just got to be in it to get it. And people that are too timid or scared to get in it, my biggest advice is just get in it, because you're in a safe space with coaches like us that will take care of your work, that will take care of the kids that are doing your work or dancing, or even if it's people wanting to be in the dance team world. Like
when you say work, let's just clarify that so people don't think you're doing people's schoolwork.
Oh, not people's schoolwork.
Let's just clarify that.
That is definitely not in my job description.
Just want to make sure that doesn't come across that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as in, like, I think of choreographers especially. Okay. I've learned sometimes I've heard the things like about dance team, and again, like I've said, you don't get it unless you're in it. So if people were in it and were open to it more, I think it would broaden their minds to be like, no, dance team is a pretty legit place in 10 different ways, rather than just being like a high school dance team that
it's sort of like competitive dance, you know, whether you're at studio dance and you compete, you know, sometimes that has a really bad rap as well. People spend so much money, la, 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 why are you doing it? What's next? All of those things that go with it. And look, the whole theme of this is if I only knew then what I know now. And if I had to do it all over again, maybe the journey would look just a little bit different. Maybe I would have more private, like I've said this before.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would not change anything about the journey of dance, because it's given my daughter, my family, like so much. And I'm not talking about just the lessons of dance. It's the lessons of life.
That's my biggest thing I preach. And like I mentioned about my coaches, it's like, dance team for me, as well as studio, because I teach at a studio as well, but dance team for me, it's prepping you, yes, to be a national grand champion or to win a national title or X, Y, and Z. But I think the lessons you can get, and I learned this, shout out to Jackie Royal, who
love her.
Love her. She's also
she's
a girl.
everything.
She's a girl boss, and she taught me a lot of what I could be as a leader in pushing my kids to learn more than just steps. And that's what Jackie taught me, is like, if I can do hard things in here in the studio, I can do hard things outside in life, or my confidence level, things like that.
Well, confidence, teamwork, the ability to make a mistake and get up off the floor. You slip, you get up. Like there, the adversity, the trauma, the drama, all of those things. And it's not like those are negative things. Those are all what I look as opportunities or stepping stones, what you're going to experience in life. Like that is life.
Exactly. And that's like, it sounds cliche, but like never giving up is such a simple statement, but I think it's so powerful.
It is.
Because Jackie taught me, don't give up, like keep going. And then by the end of whatever show we're performing or rehearsal we're doing, I'm leaving prouder of myself. Regardless of getting the steps, I'm just stronger. I've grown. I feel more confident. And that's kind of where I try to lead my girls, is that it's like, you have to do hard things to make long moves that will take you through the roof, into the stars, and beyond your wildest dreams.
What would one word be that describes your coaching style?
A little chaotic.
Okay.
I definitely think it's, as an artist, there's always just things popping into your head where I'll be like lying in bed and then I'm like, I need to fix this for a small lyrical tomorrow. And then the next day things are changing at the drop of a hat. But I really think passionate, because as chaotic as it is, and my girls call me crazy sometimes, but it's all crazy passion, because I want to give them everything that I possibly can. And I will never, hopefully, leave a practice feeling like I could have done more. If it was 50%, I gave them 50%. If they're at 50%, they give me 50. But for me, I'm like, as long as I gave everything I had in that moment with my kids, then I did my job to the best of my ability, but also I did a good job.
So you said your kids would call you crazy.
Yeah.
You said you passionate. Is it kids calling you passionate, or are you calling, like, what is the word? Like, your kids may call you crazy, but what is the word you would describe as a coaching style?
As a coaching style, that's actually a really good question that I've never thought about for my coaching style. I guess a specific word for my coaching style.
There's a lot of people that are probably listening that might be coaches, and they want to know, what is your coaching style? Because they want winning teams too. So like, deliver the secret sauce.
The secret sauce, the controlled chaos. I guess that controlled chaos, and also it's a relationship-based coaching style, in the form of, I trust my girls and my girls trust me. So whether a practice or a competition goes a certain way, or something's not ready, or something doesn't feel right, there's trust in that controlled chaos, where at the end of the day, we trust that it'll pay off. So I guess controlled chaos.
And I actually love that, because you touched on something about relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that, I'm going to quote somebody now, and I quoted on another show, David Lilienthal. He once said that the successful traits of a leader is in their ability to bring out the latent capabilities of their people. And what that means is that no two people, or two dancers for that reason, none of them are the same.
Absolutely.
And if you're a really strong leader, you have the ability to bring out the best in each one of them, but you have to figure out what that is.
Absolutely.
And I feel like, from everybody that I've spoken to and now hearing you speak, I feel like that is your strength. Like it's like, yes, there's such a thing as being consistent. You have to be a consistent leader, but there's understanding that trust, because they trust you, because you don't just earn trust. You had to get it somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, like, speaking of like earning the trust, is like, I'm very honest with my girls, in the sense, if I'm tired that day, or something I don't reveal too much, obviously, but if something in my outside coaching life is just really eating at me, I'm going to be honest, and they respect and understand that, so that if my mood is a little bit different,
which is fair.
yeah, they
You're
know.
a person.
Exactly. And what's nice is I've given them the freedom and ability. Like if someone came into me and was like, for lack of a better example, like my boyfriend just broke up with me last night, I'm really going through it. It then gives me an understanding of they're doing the best they can. They're pushing regardless of what's going on in life, and hoping that being here for both of us, when I'm having a bad day, they're having a bad day, an off day, a good day, vice versa. Then we both know that no one's going to get in trouble. No one's failing. We're all showing up still. And that's the most important thing.
And it's being there for somebody, because, you know, teamwork, like, it's so cliche, but teamwork making the dream work. I mean, it is a really big thing. It's like being able to support each other, because not everybody is going to be I guess the definition of a champion is being able to, you know, stand up when you are down, and supporting each other. And when your teammate can't necessarily stand up, you help support them up, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I would think that, you know, that is a secret sauce for sure of how you lead. I mean, I lead sales teams in my past, and I lead enablement teams now, and that is the way I lead, because I look at it like we're there to support each other, and it's not the word I, it's we.
It's we, absolutely.
Which brings me to the next part, would be, how would you define the difference between, let's say you have kids in junior high school, whatever, they're coming into high school, the difference between like studio dance versus high school dance. And I think we comes into it a little bit more, but if you could elaborate on that.
Yeah, definitely. I think studio dance, and again, I'm a studio teacher myself as well as being Valencia's coach. Studio dance, you can kind of form your own path and weave in and out of how you participate in your studio, where you grow. Maybe you're strictly a ballerina, so you're just focusing on ballet. You're not going to the not going to the hip hop classes, but your main focus is somewhere else rather than someone else, or your goal for being at that studio is different than the rest of your fellow dancers at the studio. And I think with dance team, I usually range from having 16 to 22 girls. It's just about one goal, one team, one dream is what I like to say, because it's hyper focused on every single member is important for this one goal. No one can stray off. No one can veer off, or we're all together in this. And I think that's where the studio versus dance team is so different. Both have their benefits, of course. And all of my girls are at a studio, so they know the benefits of being at their studio. I know the benefits based off of how talented they are of being at their studio. But when it comes to Valencia, we're all in this together. It's a we, it's not an I, including me, my partner in crime, which is my advisor / director for the program. It's us two with the girls, with the parents, all of us involved. This is our goal. This is our focus. And I think that's what's special about it, is we're all on the same page, and we're all on the same wavelength, and we're all fighting for the same thing. And we become a family, rather than being in a studio with 700 plus dancers, some kids you don't even know, some parents you don't even know. But with us, it's so tight knit that that's where the bond and the magic happens. And that's the like main difference to me.
Do you find the people coming from studio dance into high school dance, what would you say that their main struggle is when because you're right, they're going from a studio that might have 300, 400, 500 kids, and now they're coming into this small, tight-knit family?
I think the biggest struggle is just learning the weight of your spot on the team. As in, it's not just, you can't rely on one big production number and you're just having a good time dancing. It's, you're now a part of this and you have to hold your weight. The people in the front line can't hold it for you. You can't hide. You really can't hide anywhere in dance team, especially how we view competition. It's in a gymnasium, it's in a big stadiums like that. So I think it's a little scary at first to be like, oh wait, where my pinky is on this one part is actually really important versus just dancing. Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely does, because I think people do struggle with that, and you hear it a lot. And I always tend to wonder, like I said, I don't have the experience in it, but I always tend to wonder why. But I definitely do see it more as a we than an I, because sometimes in studio dance, yeah, you might be on company and you might be
Yeah,
performing with your company members, and that is a we, but there's a lot of I lanes taking place.
absolutely.
I want my solo. I want this choreographer. I like me. I want to be in front. Why am I not in front? The parent comes in. It's a whole different situation.
Absolutely,
And then
yeah.
when you're going into high school dance.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about so high school dance, you're there. Talk to me about selection process, like how you're coming in. I really want to talk right now to maybe the people who are in junior high school that want to come into Valencia and things that they should be prepping on, things that they need to know. And then when they get there and like, talk to me how that whole journey, what it looks like.
Yeah, so there's a couple things that, like basic technique, we're a very technically strong team. I feel very proud to say that. Um, Basic dance technique, turns, jumps, flexibility, those are all like just to me, I'm like a no-brainer. Like, come in, if it's 10 pirouettes versus 3, it's okay. We'll find the in-betweens with everyone. There's no like set rubric for what we're looking for. But I think the biggest thing for that I look for in as a coach is confidence. Because
Performance.
performance, confidence, like if you come out and audition and you own that stage, whether you get all the moves or not that you learned at the clinic the 2 days before, whether you get all the moves or not, I want to see that you feel confident and you're holding your own on that stage, or stage, I guess, in the audition room. That's what I love the most. And I've had dancers come into my program freshman year where I'm like, I don't know these girls, I haven't seen them. And then, regardless if they were perfect at the audition with the technique or the combos that we do, they had star quality. And that's immediately where I said, I want them on my team, because my job as a coach is to get them ready for stage. So they had 2 days to learn these routines or combos.
Right.
They're
And
not.
what camp are you talking about? Like, what are the 2 days? Is it 2
So
days that you do, or?
yeah, so we hold a clinic, a
Mhm.
dance team audition clinic. So
Okay.
it's 2 days before the audition where they learn the material that they're gonna audition with.
Okay.
So usually it's 2 different combinations, 2 different styles. Like, we normally do like a jazz and a contemporary, or
Okay.
sometimes a pom and a contemporary, depending on the year, what we're looking for. And then there'll be a really basic across the floor, just showcasing like
Mm-hmm.
the pirouette, 6-step, like all the basic technique. And then on the 3rd day is the audition, and then we break it down into smaller groups. So like the clinic has nothing to do with them making the team besides learning the material.
Got it.
And you have to obviously go to the clinic to know the material for the audition. But it's like, I try and remind the kids that are coming to try out, it's like, I'm not taking notes, I'm not doing anything here, I'm supervising because I'm in charge. But that's where they learn, that's where they can stumble, that's where they can fall, that's where they can pick themselves back up. And then come audition day, breathe.
Is that really true, though?
What?
Well, on these 2 days, I ask because these 2 days you're there just like hosting or facilitating, but you can't. Are you really not watching any of
Well,
them?
I'm definitely watching, but I
Okay.
don't judge my auditions. I don't pick my dancers.
Oh, you don't?
Not at all. I don't pick any dancers. It's both political, because I have returners that it would be unfair to newcomers if
Mm.
returners had
So
me as
who's
their
choosing?
judge. So I hire 2 to 3 dance professionals that I know in the industry.
Excellent.
I've brought in Royal Flux members. I've brought in people that were on scholarship with me. Everyone I've met through my career.
And if anybody's interested, Royal Flux, Jackie Royale, amazing choreographer. She runs a company called Royal Flux. These dancers are beyond. I mean, if you've never seen a Royal Flux production, you should. I actually am hoping to get Jackie on the show really soon. And these company members are beyond. So that's amazing that you have them. I think they're perfect for something like this.
Yeah. So then I just hire the 3 judges, and they have score sheets. They, out of a certain number of points, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but
Right. I
they
get
fill
it.
it out. And then I take wherever the break is in the scores, that's where my cutoff is for the team. So I'm also never a coach that's like, I only want this many this year. Like sometimes
Right.
a big question parents ask is, how many are you taking this year?
Similar to Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, they only had 6 spots open this year. Right. Okay.
So, but I never have like a set, like we're gonna do this. I
Okay.
want talent. So if I have 30 people on my team because they were that talented, great. If I have 16 that are the most talented, great. If it lands in between that, great. I'm not super specific on like, I only want this many for this year. But
you said before that if you see a kid who may not have gotten all of the moves right, but they're star quality because they have that performance confidence, you said, you want them on the team. So when do you step in to be able to say, I want them? Because let's say their score didn't really add up, but you're like, oh, star quality. So where do you come in on that?
So it's definitely a tough position for me, but for my own personal ethics, I won't step in until their score reaches where it makes the team. And I've had dancers that I've loved that haven't made the team, but what I loved even more was they trained for a year, they came back, and it was the same magic I saw, but better, and then their scores matched it to make the team. And
that's great.
That's what I love the most. If they didn't let it get them down, they said, I'm going to work my little booty off. They came back, and I was like, now you're ready, let's go. Just so that my hands don't get tied in.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't know if other schools do it or not, so I'm not here to say, but I do appreciate that because I think that it does keep your hands not dirty and it keeps it very fair. And I feel like sometimes in competition rooms, I mean, I've had other conversations with other choreographers before just about like some of the conventions, like are the judging fair, and it's all subjective, and it's all, so bringing in other outside people and not having your hands dirty really does keep it extremely subjective. Nobody knows who's trying out. Like nobody knows the kids.
And I think fairness for both Catherine, my director, and I is one of our biggest things we try to emphasize within our program, because no matter what, anyone will still have their opinions on what decisions we make, how we run our program. But if at least her and I know that we're sticking to our morals and ethics and everything is fair, nothing's shady, nothing's under the rug, it is what it is, then we're proud of ourselves for the program that we run, whether someone understands it or not. Fairness, numbers, however you want to look at it, it's the easiest way to just show them it's by the numbers, or
correct,
this is what happened. Like there's no like, oh, well, so-and-so. The gray area is not for me, so I'd rather just be like, it's the facts. So I'd rather stick to the facts.
Are there any tumbling tricks or acro that they need?
No.
Okay.
We did, so I say no because last year my goal was to have a full team aerial in our Pom routine, and some girls are lefties, some girls are on the right. So the majority, unfortunately for the girls that have it on the left, the majority was right. So then we got to work in getting my girls that only had the left get the right. So there's no like set requirement. If there's something we need in a routine or want in a routine, we're going to work for it. You don't have to have it at the audition or show me like, oh, you have to be able to do this. One requirement for my team is turns are a big thing for Valencia. For those that know, Valencia, years and years and years before I was even there or even in high school, we're a turning team. We love to turn. We do it all the time. We want to be really good at turning. So I think the biggest thing that people ask for, like, what do I need to be on Valencia? Turns are a big thing. But as far as like acro and tumbling and stuff, if you've got the tricks, great. They're in our back pocket for when we need them for a routine. If you don't, it's not the end of the world.
And then the girls that are on they're on the team. So then talk to me about like what the weekly commitment is to this dance team.
So the weekly commitment, we practice 4 times a week. We practice 3 times a week before school starts.
At what time?
7 a.m.
Okay.
7 to 9:30.
Parents take note. This is early.
7 to 9:30 for 2 days. One morning, it's a little bit shorter just based off of our block scheduling. And then we have 1 evening practice a week from 8 to 9:30 on Wednesdays, if anyone wants to know, Wednesdays. But so I guess just like 4 times a week, because our emphasis is making sure they can still go to their studios and train, because I want trained dancers.
Right.
And that's a huge thing for us. So we work around studio schedules.
And is that like a requirement that you have? Because I know, I'm not going to name the other school, but I know in some schools, one of the moms that I know, her daughter was in studio dance with us, and she left studio dance with us because, one, financial, because it is expensive to go to high school dance too. So let's talk about that a little bit. But they left regular dance, which was a fortune, and they went to high school dance. And that was kind of like a weird thing to me, because I get it. High school dance is expensive, and then you add studio dance. We're talking some big money. But if you're not continuing to train.
So yeah, I'll say this to the camera as well as I'll say it to you. My job as a coach, I can't train you like your studio teachers get to train you. My job is to get us ready for performances, get us ready for competition, all of that jazz. I don't have the time in our very limited schedule to have 2, 3, 4 technique classes a week or ballet class. Like, I unfortunately don't have that ability because we're not a full studio.
Right, of course.
So that's where I value them actually still going to studio when they join high school dance team.
Does that give them an edge with you of any choice? Like of any?
No, I don't think it gives an edge. It makes me excited because I know that they're still training, and I know my colleagues in the Valley, they're great teachers, great studio owners, great directors. They're going to keep my girls sharp, and that's what I want, is them being sharp so that when we're in practice, they're nailing their turns, they're maturing and growing as dancers, because I don't have time to do that. So thank you to my kids' studio teachers. I really, really appreciate it. But as far as people quitting, I understand it's a huge financial commitment to do both.
Yes.
And I respect that, and I appreciate the parents. But as far as like staying at the top, you got to just keep training. You got to keep training.
It's the core of the whole entire thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now, what are the costs of high school dance? I know that I had one of the moms from your school on, and she touched on like what the costs are, but like, are they increasing? Like, what should people expect when it comes to this?
It's expensive. I won't lie. And I'm sure if you're a parent listening, you know it is expensive. I think we try to keep a balance of the same price every year for the grand total of what you're going to spend. There's also opportunities. We do a lot of fundraising, which is it can take off a huge chunk.
Yeah, I think I saw people already starting to post about fundraising to help support the dance journey. And
exactly.
That, to me, as a parent, I have to say, is just nails down a blackboard. I always used to be like, okay, how much do I have to just get my checkbook out? Like, to ask people for money, for me, it drives me insane. And not saying that there's anything wrong with it, and my friends keep posting, it's fine. Yeah. But I, personally, having to ask money to help raise money for my kid to dance, nails down a blackboard. But this is expensive. So what is this cost that you're trying to keep it within?
That's actually a good question, which I should probably know, but that's a question for my director, because she keeps me in check when I want to buy something, and we have to be mindful of the price.
The budget. Okay, got it.
But it definitely, over the years, it has grown more expensive. But what we also believe, it's expensive to be as competitive as we are. And if we want to stay as strong of a program, breaking new bounds, choreography, costumes, opportunities for the girls, it has raised, not significantly, it's stayed pretty consistent, I believe, throughout the years, but it is expensive to run a successful competitive program. And like I said, sometimes I, as the coach, have these big ideas and need to be reeled back in, and I completely understand, because it's not my money that's going into certain things. So we also try to be really respectful that we're not just being like, hey, fork it over.
You are a nationally award-winning coach. So, if you have a kid, I mean, I have a kid who's really competitive. I mean, she, some people will argue this point and they will say, it's not just about winning. But that's a really hard thing to say when you're raising a champion or you're raising a competitive dancer, because I will take it from a sales perspective. If you are a salesperson, they wake up in the morning to make money. They wake up in the morning to close the deal. These competitors, and unless you are raising a champion or raising a dancer or raising somebody who has that competitive eye of the tiger, you really can't understand it. But you can, because you have these dancers who they want to win.
Yeah. They're fierce.
And I don't think there's anything to be apologetic for that. Although some people, and I might get hate on this, and that's okay, but some people might say, it's not just about winning. It's about, I'm sorry, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. We want to win.
And that's a very good point you make, because I do also agree. It's not just about winning, but if we're going to put all this money into trying and time, we might as well go for it.
Right. Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't we be competitive if we're actually paying for this costume or this choreographer? It's like, no, let's go bring in the big bucks and hopefully come home a national champion.
Right. I just had Menina on, and we were talking about the business of dance. And she was like, these kids that are majoring for their BFA of dance, she's like, let's say that that's what they want to do, dance.
Yeah.
But yet you hear them saying, well, I'm also taking, and I'm not saying communications, I'm also taking biology for my plan B. She's like, if you have a plan B, you're going to get to your plan B. If you stick with only your plan A, you have a better chance of getting your plan A. And I'm all about that. Like positive energy breeds positive results, but more importantly, eye of the tiger. Like this is what, and if you think that like, oh, it's not all about winning, then maybe you won't win. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you are a national champion coach.
Yeah, it's funny. I like to tell the girls, work hard, play hard, because we can have just as much fun if we work just as hard. So it's like, if we start to slack off in one or the other, then we lose in both instances, where it's like, we'll either lose at competition or we're not having fun anymore and we don't like being here, and that's losing to me as well. So I've luckily
that is losing.
Yeah, I've had a good rep with my kids of like, hey, here's the thing. We're going to have a good time, but we're also going to work really hard. And we can have both, but we need to do both. Does that make sense?
Yes. You talk about like those talks you have with your kids, like dancers, sorry, kids, high school, whatever.
They're our children.
They're kids. Okay. So they'll be 50 and they'll still be our kids.
Yeah.
So you talk about those conversations. Like, talk to me a little bit about difficult conversations, because I know in every dance studio, every convention we go into, like, you could be best of friends, but there is that competitive spirit that sometimes crosses a line of jealousy, walks a line of jealousy, or there's studio drama or dance drama or friend drama. You're dealing with a lot of females, sometimes males as well, but you're dealing with a lot of females. That's hormonal, like teenagers, all of these things that go with it. So there has to be difficult conversations sometimes where maybe somebody's like, oh, well, why does she keep getting the front spot? Or what? And so where is the line of where you step in as the coach? Is that a one-on-one conversation? Is that a team conversation? And what does that look like?
So luckily, fortunately, I don't have to have too many team conversations about that kind of thing. If it is a one-on-one, because I set up that relationship with my kids, it has to be in person for me, because I'm like, we're not going to do this over text message. We're not going to do this over the phone. Like, we're going to talk as humans, and tell me how you're feeling. I'll tell you my feelings, what I'm seeing, and then we'll both kind of come to an understanding. Because I think sometimes as young adults, it's just one way or no other way. So their mentality is just looking at one perspective. So that's where me as a leader, it's like I'm looking at the whole picture. So I'm like, maybe I can help them understand a little bit more rather than just gunning for that one thing they're stuck on.
Great way to look at it, by the way, that one thing, because sometimes it is just one thing that they're stuck on. And I love that.
I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes in this profession, I am so stuck being like, it's personal, like this person, like it's blah, blah, blah. But then Catherine, my partner in crime, can open my eyes to be like, oh, I understand. Like, I definitely have come to understand the parent population of my team, because I feel so strongly about my kids and my girls and how much I care for them. And if anything were to hurt them or get in the way of their success, like I would fight tooth and nail for them. That's what their parents are, their real parents.
Yes.
I'm not even their, if I feel this way and I'm not even their real parent, I'm like, I could only imagine how much a real parent feels that way. So it gave me this like different perspective of being like, okay, they're looking out for their kid. And I would do the same if I had my own biological child.
It's making me think of two different people. So I'll start with Simon Cowell from American Idol. He used to be known as like the meanest judge ever. Ruthless. People would tune in just to see how ruthless he could be, but he was known as like the mean judge.
Yeah.
I actually always looked at him as the honest judge. Like I'm like, he says everything that you want to say that people don't say, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But what I noticed was when Simon Cowell had a son, all of a sudden he became the sweet judge. So if a kid walks up on stage, all of a sudden he's mush, he's melt. He's like, he's the nicest judge ever. I want to hang out with Simon Cowell now, where he's a completely different person since having a kid. Another scenario is we went to Fierce Dance Studio coming up through the ranks, and there was a teacher, and she was harsh. She was tough, but she was amazing. But she was tough love, like very tough. And then, you know, she had a daughter, and I think she got it. I think she finally figured out like what these parents that were coming in, which parents bring drama. I was a dance mom. I own it. And there is dance mom drama, but I think once they have kids and they realize, so your point of you love the kids so much to the fact that, you know, these are their kids.
I get it. I absolutely get it. And it took me a couple years to realize that. But once it clicked in my brain, I was like, oh, they feel the love for their actual kids 10 times more than I do. I'm like, no, I understand why X, Y, and Z, because that's their job. It's
but you have
parents.
to get, you know, the other thing is, I mean, there's no way I'm going to believe you unless you tell me that this is true. These dance moms, they have to like have your ear. Like I'm sure, and we won't call out names. There's always the mom and I'm not even on high school dance team, but I see it on company. There's always the mom that's the kiss ass, the one who's bringing you coffee and the one who's kissing your ass, because they think in their head that if they do all that and you think that they're the best mom, their kid's going to get a better spot. Maybe delusional, may not, but there's that mom. And then there's the mom who's always like, my kid deserves this, or the drama mom. And then there's the one who always riles up the other moms. Notice how every one of these moms have a title, because as a dance mom and other dance moms listening, I know you can relate because we all know who these people are. And I'm not even saying the specifics of your dance team, but you have all of these different personalities of these parents. How do you navigate that?
So what I've also learned is that I'm incredibly grateful for how invested my parents are in our program. Like I said earlier, it was like, it's not just an I, it's a we. And that includes Catherine and I, our dancers, and the parents, essentially. So luckily, Catherine, my director, we split in half. Like I deal mostly with the girls. She is the director, so she handles the parents. And then we both have each other to help dissolve or figure things out between both groups, which is a nice balance for both of us so that we're not overwhelmed with like 20 girls and 40 parents. So it's like, it's all just divvied up. And again, it's similar to learning the girls and how they work in their relationship. We also now know how our parents work and function. So then we are also smarter
to lead to that. Or
if parent A specifically does things like this or comes up with things like this, we already know, rather than just like pitchforks and torches, it's like we know how to handle it.
Have you ever had to have that not disrespectful conversation? Have you ever had to have that conversation like almost like you need to go in timeout? Like,
no. I think
truthfully,
no. Are there times maybe I have wanted to? Absolutely.
Okay, fair enough.
But also, I'll say this: if my parents are listening, you've probably wanted to put me on timeout as well. So
correct.
But I've definitely we're very like resolution oriented. So it's like, if we know someone's upset, don't talk behind my back.
Well,
Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's figure it out for you and for the betterment of my whole entire team. Because I've had years and years ago, if my team is not a team, we are not going to win.
Well, I was just going to bring
and
that
we
up.
are not going to be successful. And to be truthful, it's not going to be fun. So I also think now my program has grown in a way that, yes, there's 60 personalities involved. There's going to be some conflict. There's going to be opinions, feelings. I have mine. They have theirs. The girls have theirs. But I think at this point, we've realized it's like I said, work hard, play hard. It's like, we're all still going to have those opinions, but we're going to make sure that we do still enjoy being here. It's kind of like a family. It's very family oriented in the sense of like, I've yelled at my sister before, my real life sister, and I've just gave it to her. But then 5 minutes later, I'm like, hey, do you want to go watch TV? Like, it's just that the conflicts will happen, but we all know that this is our family. We're one team, one goal, one dream.
Which is what I'm hearing from you a lot, which I think is probably part of the secret sauce. You can't raise a championship team unless everybody is on the same page to a very high level of an extent. Like, teamwork makes the dream work again. And they have to all trust each other, and they all have to be, because when you have the break, I mean, I was at my last studio that we were at, I mean, there was such a break in that team. Everybody hated each other. Well, there was a group that with the bullies, whatever. That's not even the point. The point was that was not a cohesive team.
Exactly.
Because as soon as they got off the stage, everybody, like, it was awful. It was a terrible, terrible experience. And hindsight, I wish I would have pulled her when I didn't, but she didn't, whatever. That's not where I'm at. But I'm saying that is they won because they were very good, but it was not a good experience.
Yeah.
And they didn't always win. And I think that they didn't always win because they were not all cohesively aligned at all. There was a lot of that stuff going on.
Absolutely.
So moving forward through this, now that we understand like the dynamic of the 60 people, the parents, the dancers, how you actually operate, the training schedule, when they actually train, how do you get it to the next level? So now you've won 2 Grand National Championships. Tell me a little bit about what it took to get to those Grand National Championships, and how do you keep everybody in line? It's sometimes when you're at the bottom, there's only way to go up. Like one way to go, it's up. But when you're at the top, now you got to stay at the top. There's an expectation somewhere along that.
I think what got me to the 2 National Grand Championships, and I hold tight to this, is trusting my gut and telling my girls to trust your gut. And it got us to where we were. And so obviously everyone has mentioned that they're like 2-time national grand champions. And I think I'm just going to do what I did last year, but just smarter and even better, because last year I didn't know if we were going to win 2 national grand champions. I just did that and hoped that it would pay off, because I didn't know any different, in the sense of, if we didn't win grand champs twice, I would have just felt the same as I did the year before and be like, okay, let's work harder. Let's do this. Let's change things up.
Was there anything that you changed differently? So the year before you didn't win. So then, obviously you go back and you train and you reassess.
Mm-hmm.
What did that reassessment look like to go? You said before, some people don't make the team, and then they come back the following year and they go and they train harder and harder, and they come back and they still caught your eye, but they're that much better.
Yeah.
So you didn't win the year before, and then all of a sudden you come back and you sweep.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't win the 5 years before. So I think what I like to do is every year I'll take a look at the year, go, this worked, this didn't. What can we do more for this? How can we achieve this? Because every year I have a new set of girls anyway.
True.
So it's a different dynamic. Like, we just went to camp, and I looked at my team at camp, and I had that realization of just watching them work. I know how I'm going to coach my team this year, and it's different from last year. But if I'm going into it smarter, and like the stressful things from last year of like, and if my parents are watching the costumes of it all for last year, it's like, oh, I was fighting for my life for the costumes just being perfect. But now I'm going into this year being like, okay, I'm going to still do that, but maybe be a little bit smarter, maybe push that boundary a little bit, so that I'm not changing anything. And also, I'm not scared of anything in the sense of I felt this way the whole season last year and it paid off. Let's just do it again.
Right. Like don't mess with something that actually worked, but then bring it, you always have to kind of reinvent. A lot of the choreographers that have been in your seat that I've been talking to, I always say to them, like, you're so great. Everybody from everywhere wants to dance with you, but what does the creative process look like? And what do you do to keep yourself fresh? Like these girls, dance is changing. These kids are getting better and better and
They're
better.
getting so good.
Oh my
I can't
God.
keep up. And I think that's what's also great is that my kids have gotten better and better every year. So like I feel more pressured to deliver just for them, not even for a win, not even for grand champs. I'm like, I just want to make sure how hard my girls work and how talented they are is showcased, and I give them everything that I can so that so that they're happy. Because at the end of the day, yes, winning is very important, but I'm like, if they're proud of the team they're on, if they're proud of each other, if they're proud of me, hopefully,
They
or
are.
if it's just like proud of the process and proud of the dances we did and being like I've had some girls be like, this was my favorite dance, and it might not have won all season, but they loved doing that dance. They'll never forget it. It's a memory forever. I'm like, they felt cool. They felt
Magic.
yes.
It's magic.
So it's like sometimes those moments are what bring me back to be like, I'm gonna give these girls everything. I can't control what the judges do, but I'm gonna do everything that we can so that regardless we're leaving knowing there was nothing left to do.
What's your biggest stress as a coach? Is it that you're not giving them enough? Like, what is your biggest stress that you see?
I think my biggest stress is my control issues. And you mentioned at the beginning, people have mentioned that I'm dancing on the sides while they're dancing.
You're the only coach down there that are giving the energy out, and people feed off of that.
It's the dancer in me that I'm like, I wish I could just do it for you. But I also am trying to teach my girls, no, you can do it by yourself. And they've proven that to me. But I think my biggest stress is that I'm giving up control for 20 girls to 6-7 months of work. I'm like, here you go. And I just have to let go, and whatever happens, happens. But like last year, I was very fortunate that I let go. They did their job. I did mine Monday through Friday. They did theirs on Saturdays. That's all I could ask for. But it's that I have control issues. I will admit I have control issues. But luckily, the girls, they take it, they run with it, and so it's just finding that good balance.
And how sad, like when you have like this winning team, and then some of your kids graduate, right? What do you do to help them in that college process to, obviously, we talked about it before, dance team has become so big for college.
Yeah.
Some kids are just going on to high school dance team just so they could have it on their resume for college, because these days you kind of need it. And then they're on the dance team, maybe not for the right reasons, but
yeah.
But then you have kids that have been dancing for the 4 years. Is there something that you're doing to help them with college dance?
I think the biggest thing I'm doing to help them is to make sure they can take the opportunities they can for where they hope to pursue a college career, in the sense that if there's a clinic, or shout out Tribe 99, their dance combines, things like that have built up over the years that are very important to the girls for pursuing being on a college dance team. I'm teaching them myself how to be on a team. That's obviously my job. But as far as like making sure they're taking the right steps, if someone needs a recruitment video filmed, if they ask me, I'll do it. Or if they're like, hey, just letting you know, the University of wherever has a clinic, I'm really interested in going. Just like, if there's a way that it can't be a conflict, I do my best to work around it, because I'll always push them to keep dancing after high school, because that was what I did.
That's right.
But I definitely think there have been so many more resources in general available for not only me, but for parents. Like, I'm sure you've heard from parents before that I'll push them wherever they want to go. And like, luckily my connects with colleges and the dance teams, the college dance teams I've worked with, like I'm able to pick brains and be like, hey, what does she need? Hey, like, what can I'll never overstep and be like, hey, take my girl. But I'll also just be like, I'm a little confused at this part of the recruitment process. Can you help me? And they'll help me translate it to the kids. Because like I said earlier, the one-track mind of the teenager is the most dangerous thing possible.
It's hard.
So I'm trying to go, oh, let me ask so-and-so real quick.
We're going to
Hey, you're
backdoor
good.
it.
Exactly.
So we're coming to the end. So like final thoughts pretty much is, what is your legacy? Like if you could say something to the parents, if I gave you a magic wand, what would that magic wand wish be that your parents knew? And then using that same magic wand for your kids, what would you want them to know that maybe they don't know or you want to leave thoughts with?
I would like to leave with, I am a person. I have feelings. And in general, I've devoted, the coaches that sign up for this job, we don't do it for the money. We don't do it for, honestly, the fame or the success. We do it for the kids. And at the end of the day, sometimes that gets forgotten. But at my legacy that I'd like to leave is that in 5 years post-graduating, 10 years post-graduating, my kids go, I had a great time on Valencia dance team. And my coach was awesome. He really supported me. He loved me. Same with my director as well. Like the wins are amazing. And I love to win. But that's not the legacy I want to leave. I want to make sure you're proud to be a Viking from right now while you're currently a Viking all the way till you're 60 and you're like, oh yeah, I was on a dance team
Vikings for life.
Vikings for life.
Vikings for
exactly.
life. So anyway, thank you so much, Andrew, for joining us. I hope everybody was able to grab those nuggets. It takes a lot, obviously, to be a champion, to win, but the skills and the life lessons that you learn from being part of a team, being part of, being coached by somebody who is going to not only coach you for what you do out on that winning dance floor, but being coached as the person that you are to have your kids grow. That's what you want for your kids. That's what you want to, have your kids be around every single day, because these are life lessons that will take them way past high school. So again, thank you, Andrew.
Thank you so much.
Everybody
for having me.
keep shining, keep sparkling, and go Vikings.
Go Vikes.
Don't let anybody treat you like regular glue, because you're glitter glue. You sparkle, you shine. Get it, girl, get it, friend.